I should probably. Hello. So I'm live streaming. Cool. It's working. So this is Jay Pavlina from Exploding Rabbit with our first live stream from a phone. I'm gonna tweet real quick. Oops. Don't really know what I'm doing. I also don't know why I'm doing this. I just think it's kind of cool that you can live stream from your phone. Now I'm gonna retweet, because tweeting is like the hip new thing nowadays. Retweet. Okay. Love to see if anybody shows up. There's one person watching, but it's probably me. Maybe I should get some more computers, and then I could have more people, more of myself watching. Oh, 2 more people watching. We have a dog with sunglasses watching, a very smart dog. Anyway, I kind of just want people to know I'm not dead. I did make a post on my website that I wasn't dead, but that was a few months ago. So now I'm letting you know I'm still not dead, and I'm more alive than I was a few months ago because thank you. Someone says, love your game. Thank you. But yeah, so remember I used to do these like talking videos where I would just talk, but now, because it's the future, you can talk live. And even though I'm in front of my computer, which you can see, that's my computer. There's also good shot composition showing like different layers in the scene. But it's kind of weird that like phones are almost better technology than a computer, that it's actually easier to live stream from my phone than my computer. I did try from my computer and it works, but it doesn't look as good. But anyway, you don't care about that. Who cares, right? You can see me, you can hear me, I think. So it's been a crazy, it's been about 4 years since we did the Super Retro Squad Kickstarter, which is kind of when, I wish my wife was here to translate that. Hi. But yeah, we did the Kickstarter in like summer of 2012, and now it's like almost winter of 2016. So like it's been about 4 years, and people are probably wondering like what's happening. Hi. I'll say hi individually to everyone watching. We have 9 people, including me. Hi. But yeah, I'm not really, yeah, it was 2012 in the summer, unless I'm like wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. I think it ended July 2012, then the Kickstarter ended. Yeah, because then we moved to Ohio in October 2012. So that was when things got kind of crazy for me, and then they didn't calm down until today. Which is why I'm doing this video today, because my life is finally like sort of calm again, that I feel comfortable like being myself and talking. I guess I'm kind of like sensitive to my surroundings. If I don't really feel safe, I mean, well, safe can mean a lot of things, but um, we have our own place. Me and my wife have our own place again, and so I feel okay, like making videos and talking freely again. Um, the coolest news is that like Super Retro Squad is happening, and we're actually almost done with our first trailer, and it's gonna be a really cool trailer. I think I set a pretty high standard for my trailers, and this one's gonna be pretty cool. I'm working with a really cool guy now. I'm not gonna say who he is right now because I don't know why. I guess I didn't get his permission to say who he is. But he's been in Europe for the last few weeks, and I was really sick for the last 2 weeks. The trailer, we're trying to get it out before the end of the year. Probably I'd say within 1 month from today. I think that's a pretty safe bet. I mainly just have to, I don't really have that much work to do left on it, but my artist, one guy's doing all the art, music, and sounds. So once I get those from him, that's when we'll then have to record the footage, and then we'll release the trailer. But it's gonna be really cool. Oh yeah, that's gonna be like Christmas. Maybe that's not a good time. I don't know. But it'll be ready soon. And yeah, I'm not. it's a little crazy, but I'm not working with any of the people that I was doing the Kickstarter with. I'm still friends with most of them, but I'm still friends with most of the people, but I found that it was better to just work with like one other person, or like keep the team as small as possible. When I first, like back in 2012, when we first were doing the Kickstarter, I thought it would be like really cool to have like a big team, but things got out of control pretty quickly. There's a lot of reasons for it. I'm not gonna go into like a lot of personal stuff, just because it's not really, just because it affects other people, basically. If it would only affect myself, then I would like explain everything in detail. But I realized when I made the post like 2 years ago or whatever, when we announced that the game was on hiatus, I went into a lot of detail, and then people were upset because I went into too much detail. So I'm just gonna kind of keep that stuff, like reasons for why things didn't work out. I'm gonna keep it on the DL because it's just not really worth it. It was a very complicated situation. We jumped in too quick, tried to do too much stuff, and it didn't work out. But the good thing is that the thing that we have now is actually probably closer to what people wanted Super Retro Squad to be. So it's sort of good in a way that, like, the first thing didn't work out because I think I was kind of being a little too crazy with it. I was kind of getting carried away instead of trying to make like a focused game, like a focused retro game. I was just trying to make like a cool platformer, which, you know, a cool platformer is cool, but it's better to have like a game be like focused and like it should be what it's supposed to be, you know. So I think if we did release like what I was trying to do before, I think people might have ended up actually being more upset. So yeah, what we're doing now, me and one other guy, it's already like playable. It's already, it's pretty far in being on. It's close to being able to be put on Steam Early Access. But obviously, first we're gonna do a trailer, and with the trailer we're gonna do Steam Greenlight. So, like I said, we're hoping to get that out before the end of the year. We're pretty close. Just waiting on some art. I didn't do a Mega Man X LP. I did like a Mega Man. Sorry, I'm responding to one of the comments. Someone said, Jay, I hope you continue doing the Mega Man X LP. But I think he's talking about when I made a video where I was analyzing Mega Man X because I think that game's awesome. But I got criticized because my voice is boring. But I kind of realized over the last like I don't know, like the 4 years that I've been kind of silent. I got more used to being criticized online, so I think I'm a little bit better at handling it now. Of course, not perfect, but I think I was probably paying too much attention to negative comments before, whereas now I'm more let's equally focus on positive and negative comments and not take stuff personally. But yeah, it's really good to I don't know, just talk freely again. I would have waited until I released the trailer to do a video, but I don't know, I just kind of missed like talking to people. Cool, so people are excited about the game. Yeah, we're gonna do early access. The game's built in Unity, so it's going to be really easy to put on multiple platforms. But one thing I really enjoyed about working on Super Mario Crossover was like kind of the instant feedback. And since that was a fan game, I felt like it was sort of like okay to release like rough versions and like be able to get feedback right away. So sort of the equivalent to that with like an indie game, a non-fan game, is going on early access, and then doing like beta versions or whatever. So then we can we can get feedback before like the game's like released, and then we can use that feedback to improve the game. So you can't really make a good game unless you have feedback. So I'm pretty excited about early access. People are saying that they're like surprised to see me. I'm surprised too. I didn't actually like plan on this at all, but plan on doing this, I mean. But it's good to see people are still interested in stuff, and I'm just gonna read the comments real quick. Yeah, so Sir Tuttles is agreeing that with Super Mario Crossover, we kind of made improvements over time. We would do like big updates, and then after we release a big update, we would get like a little bit of feedback, and then we would kind of like adjust, stuff and do smaller updates based on the feedback, and then we would be, working on a bigger. We'd always be like working on a bigger update, but adding like taking the feedback into consideration and putting that into small updates in between the big updates. And I don't know if anyone like played this. Like I actually did release like a really small game. It wasn't a game that I like designed or anything, but I had to make money in between now and or in between like 2012 and now. So I released this like there were these guys that I met in Ohio, and they sort of convinced me that they would be really good at like marketing a game. So I made this small game with them, or for them basically, called Rocket Wars, which maybe like 2 people downloaded the game. I'm not trying to convince you to download the game. The game's fine. It's like I forgot that game where you like shoot little things and they like blow up for Atari. I forgot what it's called. Missile Command. That's it. Missile Command. Anyway, so I did actually like release a commercial game, but you don't need to go play it or anything. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing that up is because I think I released that in June or July, and the game barely anybody played it, but making that game actually gave me like confidence, realizing that I'm not like crazy. I actually do know how to make games, and I basically just got stuck in a bad situation with the Kickstarter, and there really wasn't. Once you're in a bad situation, it's like there isn't really much you can do, except just like completely get out. The only way we were able to basically resolve the situation was to like completely end everything, and then I'm starting fresh with just one other person. But yeah, when I did make this small game called Rocket Wars, the reason I'm bringing that up is because I got experience developing for iOS and Android. And I used Unity Analytics to kind of like get data, like real-time data from the people that are playing the game. And so that's another really cool thing that I'm excited about for Super Retro Squad. I'll put in these like analytics, and I didn't in Super Mario Crossover there weren't any analytics. I just had to get feedback from people actually telling me stuff. But I'm super excited about like having analytics telling me like where people are dying. Like if there's one part in a level where like everybody's dying at this one part, then maybe we realize like, oh, this part is too hard compared to the other parts. Of course, we still want to have challenges, but we're gonna want like the difficulty to kind of like evenly ramp up, not just have like little spots of like super hard parts. So I'm just saying that's one cool thing that I learned since then that I'm excited about. Cool. So people just saying happy to see me. Are you doing developer logs like you did with Crossover? There were only 2, but I still like them. So I've always been like really interested in doing development logs, but I'm kind of just like an idiot or something, and I don't like take the time to do stuff. But since it's getting like really easy to live stream, I'm pretty interested in like live streaming stuff like development logs, because it's basically, it takes less time because I don't really have to like prepare stuff. I don't have to edit the video. So that's what I want to do. I don't know, like, I guess the weird thing about that is, like, if you see me working on the game, then I might, like, reveal some stuff that you, like, don't want to see, but I'm totally interested in doing that. Someone is saying I'm one of the people who got scammed. I don't really even understand why you'd think it's a scam. Okay, that word doesn't really make sense. We did a Kickstarter and I had trouble making the game, but we're way farther along now. So the trailer is the thing that I want people to see, because then they'll see that the game is real. Someone wrote downward thrust motherfucker. I remember the good old days when I used to say that. But the good old days are coming back for some things. I'm not, our country, the United States, is in a pretty bad state right now with the recent presidential election, but I don't really want to go into that. But I'm afraid that the next 4 years are gonna suck and have like bad long-term effects, especially. Well, I'm not gonna go into that stuff, but yeah, I've had a lot of stress recently, due to the election, as I'm sure a lot of other people have too. But games are they're an escape, but you don't only have to use them as an escape. I've always been kind of interested on doing, I don't know, what other things can be done with games. Kind of realize that any creator sort of has a responsibility, when you create something, to try to put, like a positive message into it, or at least, not a negative message. So I don't know if I'll figure out any way to do that with this game. Probably not. I mean, I'm just focusing on making a cool retro game, and to be honest, I'm sort of like, I thought by now, like, somebody else would have done what I was trying to do, but like nobody has. So I figure might as well keep going. And if you're if you're just joining in now, I don't know if you can actually go back and watch the beginning of the live stream or not while I'm streaming it, but we have a trailer for Super Retro Squad that we're working on now. Game's really far along. It's pretty close to being ready for Steam Early Access. We're hoping to release the trailer within a month, and at the same time we'll launch our Greenlight campaign. And I'm just waiting on artwork and sound and music, and then we can record the trailer. Banana Moon says, excited for the game, hope everything is smooth sailing from here on out. Nothing is ever really smooth sailing. Sadly we live in real life, and games aren't made in a vacuum. The people making the game live in real life, and we all have our own problems. You don't just get to like put your life on hold and make the game, which would be way easier if there was some way to not have to worry about life and make the game without worrying about anything. That would be so much easier. But over the last 4 years, I kind of had like a lot of my like fake, I don't know what you want to call them, like my inaccurate beliefs about reality, like they're all kind of shattered, because I kind of used to think like, oh, everything always works out okay in the end, but no, it doesn't. Not that things aren't going to work out okay eventually, but you know, you just do what you can with what you got, and kind of like the millennials in general, you know, our generation, if you're a millennial, growing up, we were kind of told like, just, you know, you're special, everything's gonna be great, and stuff like that. So I think for us, it's a little harder to accept when things aren't going well. And I kind of wish, like, when I was in school, when I was younger, I wish people just said, like, hey, you know, sometimes life is shitty, and you just gotta get through it. I wish like teachers and, you know, parents and whatever gave me a more realistic view of like how bad things can get. But we're all, I don't know, alive. Life keeps going no matter what. So you kind of just gotta keep going. And I think that probably the reason that a lot of game developers or just any creators in general, probably like the reason they fail is because they don't keep going. You know, because when you play a game, you only see the finished game. You don't see like what went into making it. You don't see like what parts of life were destroyed for that person, or, you know, the path of destruction that the person had to go through to make that game. And then, you know, there's also all the games that don't get finished that you don't see. You don't hear about those. You know, they're not really reported on. You know, people aren't really interested in hearing about failed games. But if you are, you know, creating stuff, just take it from me. Like, the most important thing is just keep going. Things will be hard, like, for sure. It's never always gonna be easy. So I think that's probably the most important lesson I've learned is like just keep going. If you're making games, you know, hopefully you're like really passionate about it. That's kind of like the difference that I started to notice with myself and like with other people, and with other people I was working with or trying to work with. I seemed to have like a level of passion that I would just always be working on a game, even if it wasn't whatever we were trying to do. There was always some like weird windy path that would be always like leading to Super Retro Squad. But the important thing is that I just always continued, and now we're like just about ready to show people, you know, what we've been doing, what I've been doing mostly. And then I'm working with one other person. I didn't tell him I was making this and didn't get his permission to say who he is, but he's released a game. I'll be mysterious about it, okay? He's released a game on Steam, and it's really good. It's a really good game. And when I played this person's game, I was like, this is a person I should make Super Retro Squad with. And he was a fan of Super Mario Crossover, so it just kind of worked out really well. All right, I'm going to look at the comments for a little bit. Okay, sorry I'm late. Are you working with any previous members of the Exploding Rabbit team? No. We kind of, or I'll just say so we, a lot of stuff happened over the last 4 years. You know, it was more than 4 years ago now that we did the Super Retro Squad Kickstarter. I'm not going to go into like personal details out of respect of the other people, but no, I'm not working directly with any of them, and that's all I'll say about it. Some stuff, you know, we had bad things happen with some of the people, and some of the people, it's like it just didn't work out. It was like mutual, but life goes on, and games go on. Jay, have you ever thought about making Twitch streams? I figured now that YouTube has live streaming that I don't need to do Twitch. Hopefully that's fine. I mean, I just figured YouTube is big enough and I already have somewhat of a following on YouTube that I don't really want to fragment it by going to another platform. If that's a horrible mistake, then let me know. Hope the game is successful. Me too. Some people are saying that the person I'm working with is Kojima. I don't know. I'm not gonna say who it is. Could be anybody. Although here's another clue. It's not a person that lives in the United States. It's someone from a different country. So maybe it is Kojima. Man, so I've been going for about 30 minutes so far, and I was actually just doing this to kind of see what it would be like to make a video again. And apparently I still know how to just talk randomly, which is good. But yeah, live streaming is cool. It feels... Kojima is not confirmed. Okay. Yeah, live streaming feels like a good fit for me right now, just because I hate editing videos. When I used to make, as many people know, before I started making games, I used to do films. I had a degree in filmmaking, but I always kind of hated editing. I didn't hate it, but when you're making like a simple video, I didn't like editing. If I was making like a movie or like a music video, then editing is fun because it's like artistic and creative. But if you're just making like a short video, then editing is just like you're trimming off, the boring parts or whatever. And it's boring. So I guess you don't get as polished of a product, but it's better to have a product than no product, in this case a video. So Kildariz says, I think YouTube is fine for streaming, especially if you're not doing anything fancy. Yeah, I'm not. Generally with videos, I guess since I did used to make films and stuff, I would always like think that my videos would have to be like really polished, but that's kind of stupid because I think with like when game developers make videos, like all people are looking for is like, they just want to hear what the person's saying. You just want authenticity. You just want to know like what's going on with the developer and with the development of the game. People don't care about quality, so I'm trying to erase that part of my brain, the part that says like I must make like super high quality videos. No, we don't need to make super high quality videos. We just need content. We just need videos. You need to be able to communicate with people, and the fact that I can stream from my phone is like fucking amazing to me. It really feels like we're in the future now. I'd say within the last like 4 or 5 years, it's felt like the future. And I guess I mean that when you used to watch movies like, I don't know, Minority Report or any movie with like aliens or I don't know, just any sci-fi movie that had like technology, it's just with the way phones work now, you can just like touch it and you can like touch it and you can talk to it. It's like, hey Siri, what am I buying for groceries or whatever. So yeah, technology's cool, and I like that it makes it easy to communicate. Alright, I'm gonna read some of the comments. Okay. X Creator says, what trailer is coming out? It's a trailer for Super Retro Squad, the game I kickstarted. My artist is currently in Europe, and assuming he gets back okay, he's going to give me the art and sound and music for the trailer, and then we'll be able to record the footage, hoping that will be done within a month. Game is all, like the actual gameplay of the game is already really far along. Any games I've enjoyed? Oh, that's a good question. Jeremiah T says, are there any games you've enjoyed playing recently, indie or AAA? Yes. So I've always heard about Dark Souls, and I just always assumed I wouldn't like it because, I heard it was like really punishing and stuff. And so I thought, like, well, the idea of like investing a lot of time in a game was always like a turnoff for me. So I just always assumed I wouldn't like Dark Souls. But Dark Souls 3 came out, and there's a red box by me which allows you to rent games. So I was like, well, I'll just rent Dark Souls since I've heard so much about this series, and like I was addicted. Sometimes you need a break from life, and yeah, I totally got addicted to Dark Souls 3. I think I played it, just like barely did anything except play that game for like 5 days straight, and I just love the whole, just everything about the game. I love it. Especially the environments. I like how they kind of like tell stories through the environment. That was one thing that really stood out to me. There's barely any cutscenes. Sometimes you get a cutscene like when a boss shows up, and there's very little like story told directly to you. And for me, that was just like a whole new experience. Plus, it's pretty hardcore. You have to like, you have to really think, and you have to like plan, and it's not unfair. It's just engaging. It's challenging. So for me, it was just like, it almost like excited me about games again, because I think I was kind of, I don't know, maybe I was just tired of the games I'd been playing, and I was sort of like just not excited about games in general. But then when I played Dark Souls 3, it's like it's like I saw that games could be something more than than what I previously thought. So that game's probably the most influential game I've played for a very long time. And then I played, after that, I played Bloodborne, and then I'm playing Dark Souls 2 on and off right now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish Dark Souls 2. I was playing it, and then I sort of, life happens, and so I'm not sure if I'll finish Dark Souls 2. That's sort of what I'm playing right now, but I just love that whole series. Okay, gonna read some more comments. FostY2K says, why is Keith Apicary doing a stream in this channel? Yeah, I do look like him. Nathan Barnett, I think is his name. He seems like a really cool guy. I would love to meet him in person and maybe do like a funny video or something. I have great respect for comedians. I just think comedians are so important, especially in difficult times like this, or the United States is going through a really like confusing, difficult time right now, and so I watch like comedy to kind of help alleviate that. And I just think a lot of people underestimate how important comedy is. So yes, I don't actually know his character Keith Apicary that well, but I've seen a lot of his other stuff, and it's really cool. From a developer standpoint, what is your opinion on the incredibly unfinished state of the No Man's Sky release? That was when No Man's Sky came out. So at first, when I didn't know a lot of details, at first I thought, like, well, I just think people are being too hard on this developer. And I was sort of like feeling bad for the developer. But then when I learned a little bit more about it, not that I know like everything, but the fact that he was promising stuff that wasn't in the game and kind of just like flat out lying about it, I think that's a problem. And again, I don't know like everything about it, but if he was just like flat out lying like a lot of people say he was, then yeah, that's fucked up. You shouldn't like one thing I've actually learned kind of related to that from doing my Kickstarter and the whole process of doing a Kickstarter. At first when I was making games, like Super Mario Crossover, I would be very secretive. I'd be like, I would barely say anything about what I was doing until I released it. And then with Super Retro Squad, people were like, oh, we want more transparency. So then I was saying a lot of stuff. And then, when you're being too transparent, then it's easy to say things that end up getting changed. So, basically everything about the game is an example, just because it's 4 years later and still the game isn't out. So anything that I would say about the game, I would say something like, I'll just use one quick example. Like at one point we like switched to like a more detailed art style, and then we were like, this is the new art style for the game, but then now it's not that. So it's easy to say stuff and then it gets changed, and then you tell people it's been changed. Some people are like, oh, this is a good change, and some people are like, this is a bad change. But either way, then later you change it back or you change it to something else, and then people are like, why do you keep changing it? Like, what, do you not know what you're doing? You're not planning? So basically the lesson that I learned from that is like, don't be too transparent and don't be too, what's the opposite of transparent? Opaque. There's a balance to it. And I think I'm probably getting better at understanding like what's okay to talk about and what's not. I think it's okay to talk about anything as long as you say like, I don't know if this is gonna happen or not, but you could say like, I'm working on this thing, but I don't know if it's gonna be in the game. Like, here's a really good example. For Super Retro Squad, originally for the Kickstarter, we said the game's gonna have online multiplayer, and then I don't know, maybe like a year after that, after we announced that, then we were like, it's not gonna have online multiplayer. But now, because I was working on another game that had online multiplayer, now I know how to do online multiplayer. So I already had a lot of work done for online multiplayer. So I'm not saying the game will have online multiplayer for sure, but I do have an experimental version with online multiplayer working. And we'll see if that gets in the game or not, but I already have done a lot of work on it. But that's just an example. So first we said the game will have online multiplayer. Then we said the game won't have online multiplayer because it's too much work. Then stuff happened that I didn't expect, and now it looks like the game will have online multiplayer. So again, I'm not saying it's confirmed. I'm just saying we do have it running, but it's not like perfect, and I don't know for sure if we're gonna finish it or not. But anyway, it's really easy to confuse people, and I think the only way you can kind of learn what you should say and what you shouldn't say is by saying the wrong thing. once you say the wrong thing and then you make people mad, then you're like, okay, no, I'm not gonna say that. And then you try, you find the balance of what you should say and what you shouldn't say. So that's a long answer to No Man's Sky. Basically, like, I can understand maybe the developer's point of view if they were like working on something and then it didn't end up getting in. That's a very common thing to, and as a developer, it's like you want to make everybody happy. Like, you want the game to be really cool. So, but if you just go out there like promising everything, then you're just going to make people mad. So you have to have restraint on what you say is going to be in the game. So it sounds like the No Man's Sky developer just didn't exercise restraint, and if some stuff I've read is accurate, he was just like flat out lying about things. So I think I would lean towards, in this case, I would lean towards like the people being right and the developer being wrong. It just sounds like a bad situation. Just from my personal point of view as a gamer looking at it, knowing that I know how games are made, as soon as I saw the game, I wasn't excited about it at all, because I just assumed that the gameplay itself wouldn't be good, and that the game, it was just all about having a big world, and who cares if you have a big world but the gameplay isn't fun, then it's boring. So I wasn't surprised that that's what happened, because you can't have like both really good content and having like infinite content and good gameplay if you have a small team. Like, it's just not really possible. Like, if you have a small team, you kind of have to focus. You have to have a narrow focus. So if their focus was just on like, we're making a big universe, it's like, that's interesting, but that doesn't sound like a game that I would want to play. And I still haven't played it, but it sounds like people don't like it. So enough about that. Let's get to some more questions. Did you have to remove any of the original characters from this new version of the game? Did I remove any of the... So I think by original characters, you probably mean the characters that were announced in the Kickstarter. Okay, so I'll just say one thing about that, because it's pretty much confirmed. Nothing will be like really confirmed until I show you the trailer, but I think I can say this pretty accurately. So we had Manny and Lonzo in the game, and those are two characters that are like really similar. So instead, we've been we replaced Lonzo with Princess Apricot. So instead of having two characters that are really similar, we have Manny, which is we're basing his gameplay on Super Mario 3, and then we have Apricot, and she's actually going to be based on Mario 2. So instead of having like two Mario 3-ish characters, you'll have a Mario 3 character and a Mario 2 character. So Apricot, she can pick up bad guys and throw them. You can, I'm not sure what else you'll be able to pick up, but so yeah, instead of having Manny and Lonzo, we'll have Manny and Apricot, and we'll probably have Lonzo show up somewhere else. One thing I probably should mention, this is kind of a long video, so I'm sure this is going to kind of get lost. But the game itself is actually, not really sure how to explain this. The game itself is a little different than at least what I was envisioning for it originally. It's funny because earlier in the video I said the game is more similar to what people expected. I'm not going to explain what the game is right now because I don't want to confuse people. So actually, I probably shouldn't even really talk about that. But this what we're working on. It's like it's really focused. So it's very like it is a retro crossover, and it's like focused on being just that. But we're actually going to be applying that concept to multiple games. Just think about like the Super Mario crossover concept and just applying that to other games, you know, like applying that concept to Castlevania, you know. And with the Kickstarter we did, you know, we talked about how you'll be visiting different worlds, being able to play as the characters, you know, characters from like multiple games into one game, you know, like taking the characters, playing them in Super Mario, taking all those characters, playing them in Castlevania. So you're going to be doing that, but the way you're going to be doing it is a little different. And it's cool. I don't really know how to, I'm not going to explain it any more than that. Just again, because I don't want to confuse people, and that's one thing I've learned. If you give too much information, you just confuse people. So you will be playing as, you know, the crossover concept is being applied, you know, in Super Retro Squad. It's going to be really focused. You'll know exactly what it's like to be playing as Mario and Castlevania, you know, Mega Man and Castlevania, and then of course we're going to do others, but I'm not going to say what the other games are going to be, but you know, I'm sure you can guess. But that's all I'm going to say about that for right now. And I'm not going to talk about any of the other characters right now because, again, there's actually going to be like different characters in different parts, and just know that there's going to be a lot of variety of characters, and that I can tell you right now that it's really looking like Lonzo, you're going to be Apricot instead, just to make it more variety, because those two characters, you know, they're too similar. Okay, getting back to just give me 1 second here. It's just getting a little warm, so I'm just opening the door. Just gonna get back to some of these comments. Did you ever play Hyper Light Drifter? I do own the game. I bought it when it was on sale because I'm an asshole. You know, buying games on sale, I get it. Sometimes you're poor and you have to buy games when it's on sale instead of giving the developer, you know, the full price of the game. Whatever, we're not perfect. But yeah, I bought the game. Haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I will, and I've heard it's really good. How did you react to the amiibo functionality Super Mario Maker? Everybody was like, whoa, Mega Man, Zelda, and Mario, what the fuck? And I was like, yo, I played this. Nintendo stole Jake Pavlina's idea. That was a comment by Kongultron. Yeah, I mean, totally, especially when I saw when they released the first trailer and they showed like, you know, I'm pretty sure Link was in the trailer and it showed him like getting coins and stuff. And at first I was like, oh, you know, yeah, they're doing the same thing, but then it's like, now they're just costumes. So, yeah, I think personally, I think it's a missed opportunity by Nintendo. I really don't. Two things I feel are missing in Mario Maker. I have the game. You know, it's like the only Nintendo game I've bought for like, I don't know, two years maybe. And that other game, NES Remix, that was like the only other game I bought. So I guess I only get the games that are like retro style. So yeah, in my opinion, it's a missed opportunity. I think that they should have let you play as other characters. But again, I get it. You know, they want their game to be focused. Like, this is Mario, but I think I would have enjoyed the game more if you could play as like other actual characters. And then the other thing I feel like they missed was multiplayer. Like, why can't I play it with my friends? Why can I only play by myself? So those are my two big complaints about Mario Maker. And I do like the game. My Wii U is like busted. I don't really know what happened to it, but whenever I play on the TV screen, like the frame rate is all like super choppy, so I can't really play. But when I look at my gamepad, the frame rate's fine. So I can only play the Wii U now if I look down at the gamepad. So I haven't really played it much. But Mario Maker was really the only game that I was playing. So I think as a game, it's awesome. You know, allowing people to create stuff. At first I thought it was really limited, but you know, then they started adding stuff. Like they added checkpoints. Checkpoints was like a big, you know, thing that they were missing. They still don't have slopes. I'm pretty sure they haven't added slopes. So that's kind of a big thing they're missing. But again, you have to focus on like you know, how simple or how complex you want something to be. And basically, I think Nintendo makes things too simple, in my opinion. So I would prefer a little more freedom to do more stuff. You know, like I said, slopes. I don't know. I can't really think of anything else specific. I think the amiibos are overdone. I don't know. I don't care. Like, why there's so many? Why are there so many costumes? It's like, geez. And like they're always adding more. And then they have like their I forgot what they're called, but like their sponsored levels or whatever. Like they have a level where you like drive a car and it's I don't know, Toyota or something. I don't remember. And there's like a Southwest Airlines level. It's like that stuff is stupid. But I guess you don't have to play those levels. But when I see that kind of stuff, I feel like they're raping my childhood. So I don't know if I'm just taking it too personally. It's like I don't want to see Mario like driving like a real car in a game that looks like Super Mario Brothers 1 and it's like an advertisement. I just don't want to see that. That's how I feel. But the actual game concept, you know, is cool. I just think Nintendo generally isn't very good at like technology and keeping up with the times, which is probably why my Wii U is like broken now. Someone said that they liked the silliness of the Tales Elementia LP. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in actually doing an LP with my wife, Iggy, because she's not really a gamer and she just says like really weird stuff all the time. So I think it would actually be funny. It'd probably be like funnier if I don't know, if we like find a game we could play together. And again, we would live stream it because now, you know, it's getting so easy to live stream stuff. I'll have to ask her if she's up for that, because I think that it's, you know, it's fun to, you know, have a hardcore gamer and then like I mean, she's not a non-gamer, but very casual, but she's super funny. So if I do an LP, yeah, it would probably be with her. But they kind of took a long time, but it was only the editing that took a long time. So if I live streamed it, then, you know, it'd be way easier. But as one of the other comments earlier talked about, what I'm actually more interested in just live streaming, like playing games, is doing more like development logs and stuff like that. I think that's something that I would bring more of a unique perspective, talking about making games and stuff. So I'm more interested in that, but yeah, like live or LPs, you know, those are fun too. Please make the completion bonus your version of Shovel Knight. Not really sure what you mean by that. Yeah, not sure. how I think this person meant to ask how many characters are there going to be in the new game. Originally, it's gonna be pretty close to Super Mario crossover, but the not the I don't know. I don't want to get too many details. Just it'll be kind of similar to the characters in Super Mario crossover originally. Not all of them, but most of them. So a reasonable number. How do you plan? Oh, sorry. Do you plan on updating Super Mario crossover any further? No, because this new engine I've created is way more powerful and extensible than Super Mario crossover. Because Super Mario crossover is made in Flash. My new engine is made in Unity, and it's way better